as we zoom in towards that runway now, that is the under 17 long jump championship for the boys. And on the runway at the moment from the Scots College is Joshua Wong. So just getting in the first attempts now for both the under 17 and the Opens Men long jump championship events.
So you're able to watch the live stream today both on the Athletics New South Wales Facebook page and also on YouTube. On YouTube, if you search for the 125th AAGPS Athletics Championships, you'll find that. There's a separate Saturday and Sunday stream. And on Facebook, if you go to the Athletics New South Wales page, you should be able to watch the live stream on that page. Now, for those watching on Facebook today, given the length of today's session, we will have to, during the course of the day, change over feeds. There's a maximum stream length on Facebook, so we'll have to go to a second feed, and we will go from there. So there will be a changeover halfway through the day on Facebook.
So for all the start lists for today's events, they are available via the AAGPS website. So that's aagps.nsw.edu.au. If you click through to the Athletics Championships page, you'll be able to find all the start lists for not only today's competition, but also the junior and the intermediate competition here tomorrow. It also has the order of events, so the final timetable for both the seniors, juniors and intermediate competitions. We also have all the metric and electronic records as well, so for your record references, all of those are up there as well. So timetable and start list via the AAGPS website.
So obviously doing our best to track both long jump pits here, the two travelling at once. There's one of the King's boys. And Jimmy, maybe just tell us a bit about the division between events today and tomorrow. Obviously there's a lot of COVID protocols here. We know that the GPS is usually one of the best events of the year in terms of atmosphere. That's obviously a little bit different this year.
Yeah, of course. We do need to stay under that critical capacity of 500 people at any one time. So the GPS Championship coordinators have done a fantastic job to make sure that we do stay under those limits, which does mean unfortunately there are no spectators in the stands either today or tomorrow. But today's events, we do have the under 17 and the open boys divisions. They will run through the entirety of their championships today. And then tomorrow's program from 8:30 until 12:45 will be the junior age division, so that will be the under 13 and under 14 boys. And then on the Sunday afternoon, running from 2:30 until 6:45, will be the intermediate program, so that will be the under 15 and under 16 boys championships. So essentially a one-day championship is now split into 3 different competitions. the Opens today, with the juniors followed by the intermediate program tomorrow.
As Jimmy says, that's entirely to ensure that we comply with the COVID-19 regulations, and many events are being held under these sort of conditions at the moment. It's an extensive COVID plan in place for this event to ensure that it's COVID safe. We've all had our temperatures checked and the like coming into the building today, and that will continue throughout the course of the weekend as we look at one of the Newington boys on the runway at the long jump. And a good jump there. So for those new to the sport, white flag at the field events means that the attempt is legal, that they've taken off from behind the black line on the boards, and a red flag means that it's a foul. So we look at one of the Scots boys on the runway.
So this is James Cotis from the Scots College. He's just about to start his second attempt to kick things off in round 2 for the Open Boys Long Jump Championship. So he just lines up his attempts and then off he goes. Not a bad jump there from James.
Yeah. I'm just looking down there to see if we can see any of the results boards, and I don't think we can at the long jump, so a little bit difficult from up here for us to bring you the attempts as they're being made, but we'll show you that scoreboard every now and then so you can see the start lists. But it doesn't look like they're using the result display boards. It's one of the Kings boys. Might have been a little long there. Yep, so the red flag indicating that was a foul.
So from the Sydney Grammar School there, that was Andrew Guest. Just not quite nailing his run up. It's a nice jump there in the under 17 boys. I think that might have been Amaric Maloney from St Joseph's College, getting in his first attempt. And on the runway now is Aaron Lee from Sydney Boys High School. So the under 17 long jump competition, Aaron is the second to last jumper in round 1. Pretty good jump there from Aaron as we wait for the white flag. Official down there, Dennis Coker on the board. That's a fantastic jump there. You can hear some applause coming from some of the boys standing on the infield. Great jump there. That was St Ignatius College's my apologies, St. Joseph's College's William Maffey, I believe. That's right out there. That's probably not too far away from 7 metres. Just couldn't quite get that distance, but hopefully we'll be able to find out what William's jumping very shortly. And in the under 17, as we pan back to that pit at the northern end, that was Oliver King from the Sydney Grammar School. He's just had his first attempt, and that will be the end of round 1 for that under 17 long jump championship. There's Cameron Elvey from the Shaw School as we make our way through round 2 of the Open Long Jump Championship, going towards the southern end. Nice jump there from Joshua Watson from the Newington College. That's the first attempt of round 2 for the under 17 boys. And at the other end, Newington College's Kelly Delahunty also getting the white flag. Interestingly enough, the record for the Open Boys Long Jump Championship here at the AAGPS, the longest standing record in any of the events in any of the age divisions. An incredible 7.42 metres set by Jim McCann from St. Joseph's College in 1957. So a 63-year-old record. Essentially half the entire time these championships have been run, of course this year being the 125th anniversary. An incredible record. It has stood for 63 years. It looks like in this Open Long Jump Championship at the moment, William Maffey from St. Joseph's College, he's had 2 very good jumps in the first 2 rounds and would most likely be leading this competition. That was Oliver Little from the King's School, just having his second attempt. And getting the white flag there from the official David Morrow. You can see some of the boys lining the track there. Actually quite a sight. All standing in about lane 5, lining the track. Red flag there for the second round attempt for St. Ignatius College's Jonathan Cademo. So just 1 jumper left now in round 2 for the Open Boys Long Jump Championship. Kent Goo from Sydney Boys High School will round out that second round.
Okay, so at the end of the second round there, we'll show you the start list for this under 17s long jump as we've been discussing. So you can see there Joshua Watson from Newington, Joshua Wong from the Scots College, Henry Murray from Shaw, Lewis Depreme from St Ignatius College, Isaac Geedes from Armidale, Connor Bond from Kings, Ameritric Mullaney from St Joseph's, Aaron Lee from Sydney Boys, and Oliver King from Sydney Grammar. And while we watch another one of the attempts, we'll head down to the Open in just a moment.
So just shaking out the legs there. This is James Cotis for the Scots College. He's just about to kick off proceedings for round 3 as we head toward the midpoint of our Open Long Jump Championship.
Good attempt there.
Yeah, great jump there by James. That's probably his best one yet.
I think we're ready with the Open Men's start list.
So we just saw James Cotis there from the Scots College, kicking off round 3. We also have Remy Taylor from the Armidale School, Andrew Guest from Sydney Grammar School, William Maffey from St Joseph's College, Cameron Elvey from the Shaw School, Kelly Delahunty from Newington College, Oliver Little from the King's School, Jonathan Codemo from St Ignatius College, and Kent Gu from Sydney Boys High School. As I mentioned earlier, William Maffey has had a fantastic couple of jumps to open his account for the Open Long Jump Championship, and it looks like he's probably got the lead in this one. Again, we don't have the display boards out at the long jump runways, but just from a visual, he's had a very good couple of attempts to kick off this championship.
To the operation frame, please. To the operation frame, thank you.
So we might just look ahead at what's coming up as well. As James mentioned earlier, if you've just joined us, all of the timetable and start list information is available on the AAGPS website. Just get James to run us through what's happening in this morning's session.
Yes, thanks, Matt. So about 15 or 20 minutes ago, we have kicked off the championships with the Under-17 and Open Boys Long Jump Championship. They will then be followed by the Under-17 and Open Championship Shot Put. And then the first of our track events, so we see another great jump there by William Maffey from the St Ignatius College. He's having a very good first 3 rounds of competition here. Just looking back to the timetable. Yes, the first of our track events will be the Under-17 divisional and then championship races for, the Under-17 800 metres. So the divisional race followed by the championship race. That is kicking off at 10:57, so 3 to 11, just over an hour away. Then that will be followed by the Open divisional and Open championship races following immediately afterwards. We then move on to the Under-17 110 metre hurdles, the divisional followed by the championship races, then the Open 110 metre hurdles, divisional and championship races. Continuing with the short distances, we then move on to the 200 metres at 12:17, the Under-17 and Open championship races there. And then at 12:30, the Open 3,000 metre championships. I think there's a couple of athletes for that one, Bailey Habler and also Hamish Longworth, who should be a very good race, that one, the Open 3,000 metre boys championship, 12:30. At 12:30 we also have the Under-17 and Open boys high jump championship events, so that will be going on at the same time as the 3,000s. And then short break potentially before the multi-class 100 metres at 1:22. Then we move into the Under-17 divisional and championship races, followed by the Open 100 metre divisional and Open divisional and championship races for the Open boys. So those 100 metre races kicking off at 1:22 p.m. And then at 1:59 we move into our 4x400 metre senior race, always a highlight of these AAGPS championships. And then we go into our individual 400 metre championships, the Under-17s followed by the Opens. And then at 2:43, the Under-17 1500 metre championships, and then the Open 1500 metre championships. And then finalising our proceedings today, we will have the Under-17 4x100 metre event, that's at 3:17, followed by the Open 4x100 metre event at 3:22.
So a full couple of days of action. Of course, these championships are usually done in a day, but for obvious reasons this year they've had to be spread out over a couple of days as we continue to watch the senior boys long jump. So as we've said, we aren't able to see the results boards while this competition is going, as I think that's one of the Scots boys having his attempt. But what we'll do after the third round is go down and lean on our friend Ronnie Richter down there, who's recording the results, and we'll bring you a mid-competition update as to how these senior boys competitions are progressing. So we see, I think it's the Sydney boys and the Newington boys together on the runway.
So for the open boys there, that's Aaron Lee from Sydney Boys High School, and facing in the other direction, my apologies. Sorry, that's Kent Goo for the Sydney Boys High School in the opens, and from the Newington College just then was Joshua Watson in the under 17s. So both those boys just taking their attempts. I think that might have been the third round attempt for both of those boys. And we might actually have just hit the end of round 3 for those open boys long jump championships. So I might actually just see if I can find out how we're going at the end of round 3.
All right.
So I was able to race down and get some results after round 3 of the Open Boys Long Jump Championship. As we see a false start. And you might be able to hear that from my mic as well. So leading the competition at the moment was William Maffey, or should I say is William Maffey, 6.83 metres. So some fantastic jumping there by William. His series attempt 1, 6.70, second attempt 6.70, and his third attempt was his best at 6.83 metres. So some fantastic jumping there by the St. Joseph's College athlete. In second place at the moment is Oliver Little from the King's School. A foul in his first and third attempt, but he jumped 6.25 metres in his second attempt. So Oliver Little from the King's School currently in second place with 6.25 metres, and just 1 centimetre behind him in third spot at the moment is Kelly Delahunty from the Newington College with 6.24 metres. Fowler was his first attempt, jumped that 6.24 metres in his second attempt and 6.18 metres in his third attempt. In fourth at the moment with 6.12 metres is James Cotis from the Scots College. In fifth place, Andrew Guest from the Sydney Grammar School. In sixth place, Jonathan Condemo from the St. Ignatius College. In seventh place, Cameron Elvey from the Shaw School. And currently in eighth for that Open Boys Long Jump Championship is Kent Gu from Sydney Boys High School with 5.13 metres. So they're the current standings after 3 rounds in the Open Boys Long Jump Championship. So we can see James Cotis there jumping. That was his 4th round attempt. Now, James was jumping first in the first 3 rounds as per the order on the start list, but after 3 rounds in the long jump, the officials come together with the recorder to reorder the athletes jumping, and they are reordered from the shortest distance. So that would have been Kent Gu. He would have jumped first in that round, and they work their way down to the last jumper of that round being the athlete leading the third round. So from 8th to 1st in this competition, they will be jumping in that order for rounds 4, 5 and 6.
Long Jump Championship. They're in the 6th and final round of the competition. Currently, Connor Bond, 6.96 metres of Kings. Then from Americ Maloney was Joseph's.
So you may have just heard over the loudspeakers that Connor Bond at 6.96 leads the senior long jump. We're in the final round now of that competition.
17 long jump now completed. Unofficial results, seeing Kings first, Shaw in second place, and Newington College third, Scots fourth, St Ignatius fifth, Sydney Boys High sixth, and Sydney Grammar seventh. We'll wait for official confirmation from the officials and post that on the board. Congratulations unofficially to Kings, winners of the Under-17 Long Jump Championship.
So welcome back, James Constantine, who I think's got some results for us from these senior long jump competitions.
Might just catch my breath there, Matt. Walking up some stairs. So the Under-17 Boys Long Jump Championship has actually just completed. Very exciting. So a magnificent jump from the King's School athlete Connor Bond, 6.96 metres. So just 14 centimetres off the AAGPS record set in 2006 of 7.10 metres. So brilliant jumping there from Connor Bond. Took out the win in the Under-17 Boys Long Jump Championship. Second place was Henry Murray from the Shaw School, 6.43 metres. Great jumping there by Henry. Very consistent series of jumps there with 3 jumps over 6.29 metres. And in third place was Amric Maloney from St Joseph's College, jumping 6.23 metres. So some really good jumping there in the Under-17 Boys Long Jump Championship, but it was Connor Bond easily winning that. Only took 1 jump, 5 fouls in his series, but his third round attempt of 6.96 metres. Very, very impressive to take out the win. As we move through the Open Boys Long Jump Championship now, I believe they're in round 5, so we won't be too far away from some final results of that event as well. So nice jump there from Jonathan Condemo from St Ignatius College. Jonathan currently sitting in 6th position after 3 rounds. Just had his 5th round attempt. Next on the list should be Andrew Guest from the Sydney Grammar School as he makes his way down the runway. Not a bad jump there from Andrew. So we just saw James Cotis actually just take his final round attempt. So my apologies. Before we actually are in the final round of the Open Boys Long Jump Championship, I've just been made aware that as of the end of round 5, there has been no movement in the standings. So currently still in first place is William Maffey of St. Joseph's College with his third round attempt of 6.83 metres. Currently leading Oliver Little from the King's School in second with 6.25 metres. And in third from Newington College, and I think we just saw his last round attempt there. That was Kelly Delahunty with 6.24 metres, his best so far, good enough for third overall. So on the runway now, we have Oliver Little, currently sitting 58 centimetres behind William Maffey, so a big jump here is going to be required from Oliver Little to take out the championship for the King's School over St. Joseph's College. So we'll have a look at the King's athlete here, Oliver Little, as he comes in for his final attempt. And just over the board there.
Yeah, just
see
over.
the red flag.
There was a little bit of a crowd there, a bit of a clap. There are a few people around, but obviously we're limited to that 500 person limit.
As we can see panning around the track, we still have those tents on the back straight. They're housing the athletes competing at these GPS championships today. We can see a beautiful, absolutely beautiful day here for athletics at the Sydney Olympic Park Athletic Centre.
It's about as nice a winter's day as you're likely to get in Sydney. It's perfect conditions. The middle distance guys were going around at the moment, they'd be pretty happy with that. Sprinters probably like it a little bit warmer. No real wind around either, which is pleasing for, you can see the windsocks down on the long jump runway very still.
Those official results, congratulations to the Open long jump competitors commencing our 125th Senior Division Championships.
So a little break in the program now, I think, before we head down to some shot put.
Yeah, that's right. That shot put will be commencing at 10:45, so just about half an hour's time. That'll be both the under 17s and the Opens Championship events. Yes, at 10:45 they'll be commencing. So yes, a short break in the program.
So we'll leave you for the intervening period. We'll obviously leave the stream running, but we'll be back for those shot put events at 10:45. See you soon. Okay, welcome back to the live stream. We've got the under-17s and the Open, so the senior boys shot puts in the circles at the moment. You can see them happening at either end of the field. I think we're able to show you, we'll shortly be able to show you a start list for those two events. And Jimmy, I think we've got some 800 metre races coming up as well.
Yeah, we do. We have the under-17s first, as I just scroll up to my timetable. Yes, so the under-17 800 metre divisional race, that will be at 10:57, so just under 10 minutes away now, and that will be followed by the under-17s championship 800 metre race at 11:02. They'll then be followed by the Open divisional and then Open championship 800 metre races immediately following the under-17s.
Division and championship, 17 years in the Open 800 metre athletics starting area, please.
Okay, and I think we've got the start list for the under-17s boys on screen now, Jimmy.
So for the Sydney Boys High School is Blair Zong and James Liu. For the Sydney Grammar School, Sahil Nanda and Jan Bose. For the Newington College, Hugh Bell and Quentin Lamoto. St Ignatius College's William Lamming and Mackenzie Thompson. For the Scots College, Tyson Cogan and Darcy Clifton. The King's School, Angus Arnott and Harrison Usher. No competitors for the Armidale School. Jackson Knight and Jonathan Woodcock for the Shore School, and William Burnett and Zachary Hart for St Joseph's College. So just a reminder, the under-17 boys are at the northern end, so that's the scoreboard end of the field, and as we pan out just there, that's the Opens Boys Championship at the southern end.
Yep. And I think we've got the Open start list as well.
So for St Ignatius College, Henry Payne, Angus McBean. Sydney Boys High School, Alan G and John Luo. Scots College, Joshua Wrong and Hugo Savala. St Joseph's College, Byron Sutherland and Benjamin Wallace. The Armidale School, Toby Newcomb. Newington College, Mac Fell and Thomas Macker. The Shore School, Jamie Clark and Finn Hancock. Sydney Grammar School, Nick Gay and Henry Blackwell. And the King's School, Teague Hall and Joey Vitanza.
It's one of the Scots boys in the circle there.
So just going through the rules for the shot put competitions, you see at the moment, as we get a good shot there down on the ground of the Open Boys Shot Put Championship. So just going through the rules, which are available via the AAGPS website. Each school will be allowed 2 competitors, and we just saw 2 competitors for each school on those start lists. At the completion of the 3rd attempt, the 2nd place competitor from each school shall be awarded division points from 1st to 9th, and then the championship points from 7th to 9th shall also be awarded at that time. The remaining 6 leading throwers shall be allowed 3 additional throws. So it looks like the top 6 athletes from the end of the 3rd round will be allowed those 3 additional attempts, and then the other boys will be given divisional points, and also the 7th, 8th and 9th place athletes in each of those competitions will be given championship points. an explanation of those championship and division points, and we'll get to these a little bit later as we start towards move towards the track program. There's an explanation again on the AAGPS website for those who are inclined to look at the rules. But there are different point score allocation systems for both of those events. We'll see that quite obviously in the 800 metre races that we've got coming up in just a few minutes' time. We have the divisional races running first with the point score allocations of 11, 9, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2 and 1 points allocated to each of those athletes, and then the championship point scoring 20, 16, 13 and so on for the I guess what you could call the A race or the championship race. So again, for those inclined, please do look at the rules on the AAGPS website. But I guess the gist of it is the championship races. You would expect to see the best athletes in those races because there are higher point scoring allocations attached to those races, not only for today's championships but also the junior intermediate championships that we have coming up tomorrow morning and afternoon. So we can see one of the King's athletes there, the King's School. It's quite good put, that one, just over the 14 metre mark by the looks of things. As we move back to the under 17 shot put, and we're just about ready for the first of our track events of the day, the under 17 800 metre division race. So going through the start list, in lane 1 for Newington College, Joe Deister. In lane 2 for the King's School, Will Primmer. In lane 3, representing Sydney Grammar School, Islander Mesmeris. In lane 4 for Scots College, York Swan. In lane 5, Sydney Boys High School, Kalish Stanley. In lane 6, Matthew Hogg from the Shaw School. In lane 7 from St Ignatius College, Max Holmes. In 8 from St Joseph's College, Jordan Lancaster. And no one representing the Armidale School in this event. So 8 starters for the first of our track races of the day, the under 17 800 metre boys divisional race. So we're not far away from a start. We're just having a couple of very minor issues with the starting box. That's the start team down there. Just quickly making some adjustments to the starting PA sound system.
So ordinarily there'd be marquees all over the track here, and a few thousand people in here getting ready to cheer the boys around, but unfortunately we'll have to battle on without the crowds today.
So
here we go.
So away from the inside out, Deister, Primmer, Mesmeris, Swan, Stanley, Hogg, Holmes and Lancaster. Getting a good start from the Newington College on the inside is Joe Deister as he leads the field through the cones in our first event of the day, the under-17 800-metre divisional race. Coming quite swiftly on the outside there, St Ignatius College's Max Holmes as they go through the 200-metre mark. Quite quickly, actually, under 28 seconds for that first 200. So the boys really gone out quite hard in the first event. So at the moment, at the front, it is St Ignatius College's Max Holmes leading the field and controlling this race. Just behind him, Newington College, Joe Dyster, and also the King's School athlete Will Primer there, sitting in third spot as they come towards the bell lap. They've gone through in 58.8 for the first lap, but it's the St Ignatius athlete having a good run here. Max Holmes, he's got a few strides on the rest of the field and starting to pull away with 300 metres to go. Also coming on the outside here now is the Scots College athlete York Swan as he moves into second spot and starts to try to chase down Holmes. As they come up with 200 to go. It's the St Ignatius College athlete Max Holmes still leading this field after going out very quickly. Under 28 seconds for the first 200, but the King's School athlete now coming, that's Will Primer, and he's moved around the outside. Will Primer's taking the lead with 120 to go as he makes the charge from home. We'll see what the other boys have to respond with, but it's Will Primer looking very good for the win here, and these minor places very important as well for point standings, but Will Primer coming down towards the line. The Scotch College athlete trying to run him down, but Will Primer's going to just hold on. It's the Kings followed by Scots College and then St Ignatius for the first event of the day. 2:01.97 unofficially for the King's School athlete Will Primer. Very good run over the last 200 metres to take out that under-17 800 metre divisional event. First track race of the day, very exciting. Matthew Whitbread.
Good race. Very good race. Nice move up the back straight there. Scott's loomed late, but I'll tell you what, he was putting on the brakes pretty quickly, Primer, but he managed to hang on. He'd done the work for Kings.
So we just panned up to the scoreboard. Confirmation of that win for Will Primer from the King's School. 2 minutes, 1.96 seconds, 2:01.96. York Swan from the Scots College got that second spot. 2:02.31, and Jordan Lancaster must have had a late run there from the St Joseph's College. He ended up coming third. Matthew Hogg, very close there. They would have been split by thousandths of a second, Jordan Lancaster and Matthew Hogg. Matthew Hogg from the Shaw School coming in fourth. Joe Dyster, after doing a lot of the early leading from the Newington College, came in fifth, 2:06.15. Max Holmes, St Ignatius in sixth, 2:06.81, and Kalish Stanley from the Sydney Boys High School in seventh position. As we move down towards the start, this will be the under-17 boys 800 metre championship race. So this is where the major points will be decided.
Okay, and here's the start list. So Jeremy Bennett from the Scots College goes in line number 1. Ben Hazel from Newington in 2. Thomas Brickich for Sydney Boys in 3. Louis Cannington for Armidale in 4. Felix Rogers from St Ignatius College in 5. Oliver Freeman from Sydney Grammar in 6. Finn Grimmond from St Joseph's in 7. Harry Farrington from the King's School in 8. And Nathan Stanmore from Shaw will run in lane number 9.
So they're away. Pretty quick start on the outside there by the Kings athlete. That's Harry Farrington. And also on his inside is the St Joseph's athlete, St Joseph's College, Finn Grimmond. So Farrington and Grimmond currently out in front. Farrington will take them through the 200 very quickly, 26 seconds on the clock. So again, very quick start there for our under-17 800 metre boys races.
So they're pretty closely together there, single file. As you can see, there's the two boys breaking out at the front there from Kings and Grammar. and then Shaw sitting in behind before Scots and Newington as they come down to pick up the bell, and it's going to be around about the 55-second mark as they hit the bell.
So 55.82 through the bell lap, and it's the Kings athlete Harry Farrington starting to put on a bit of a surge here. Much like the first divisional race we saw, he's taken it out early, and with 300 to go, he is starting to stretch out that lead, and it's looking quite comprehensive at the moment with the Newington athlete there in tow, Ben Hazel. But there's at least a 10 metre, maybe a 12 metre gap now as Farrington goes through the 600 and 122. Very impressive running here by the King's School. And they're looking the goods. That lead's really extended out now to about 25 metres. And again, the minor placings will be very important for this one. But Farrington looking the goods, 137 as he comes into the home straight. As he comes down, Scots College athlete coming hard there, trying to pick up that second spot, but it's all about Harry Farrington. This one, look at the clock, it's going to be a quick one. 154.36 unofficially, and it's actually going to be Shaw School. So that was Nathan Stanmore, from the Shaw School in second, Scots College coming in third. Nice tight finish on the line there, fifth spot between Sydney Grammar and St Ignatius as the rest of the field comes across the line. So Harry Farrington taking that one out in the under-17 800 metre championship race as we pan towards the scoreboard for the official results. There may have been a change. It was actually Charlie Jefferson from the King's School there, so apologies for that mistake. I just had the wrong name on my start list. Charlie Jefferson, 154.35, taking out the under-17 800 metre championship race. Nathan Stanmore, second, 157.27, and Jeremy Bennett in 157.88. So the King's School first, Shaw School second, and the Scots College in third, taking out those major points.
Okay, so here we go with the start list for the Open Men's 800 metres. John Moore from the Armidale School goes in lane number 1. Max McCarthy from Scots in 2. Joseph Ruddy from St Ignatius in 3. Matthew Madgwick from Shaw in 4. Hugh Kennedy seems to be missing a name on his start list, but it's St Joseph's in lane 5. Jinhan Wu from Sydney Boys in 6. Miles Stewart from Kings in 7, Hugo Newman from Newington in 8, and Ross Poole from Sydney Grammar runs in lane number 9.
So we're away in the Open 800 metre divisional race from the inside. Moore and they are going to be brought back.
It's a late recall,
Very
isn't it?
late recall. Yeah. There may have been I think it might have been an issue with the timing system actually. We can't see the clock.
Photo finish may well not have triggered there, so.
So it should be all clear for these athletes to restart.
Yeah, I think you're right. I didn't see the clock actually start there, and I think they've just had another go, and we still haven't got a clock running down on the main system that's linked to photo finish here, so it might be a slight delay.
Of course, our electronics starting system are all interconnected with the results and timing teams here at the Athletics Centre. A lot of technology involved in putting on these meets. When one wire is loose, the whole thing ceases to work.
As we've discovered a few times over the years. So they did get a fair way around that first 50 metres or so before they were pulled back. We'll see if we can get them underway at the second time of asking. So I think they are still just doing a bit of work there.
It's interesting. I wonder if it'll affect the start of the race, having gone out quite hard for 50 or 60 metres, where we might see a slightly more conservative start in this race now.
Very important, that first 100 metres, and yep, we've got a clock running now on that test start, so we should be back in action.
So away cleanly this time, and the clock is running. So Armidale School, Scots, St Ignatius, Shaw School, St Joseph's, St Boys High School, King's School, Newington College and Sydney Grammar from inside to out. Getting a good start there again. The King's athlete just coming across through the bottles there as he will take the lead. So that King's School athlete, Miles Stewart, and again a couple of metres ahead through the 200 at about 27.1. So another quick start here for another one of the King's School athletes. You can see the yellow of Scots College sitting prominently there as well. That's Max McCarthy. Also moving his way up there is, I think, one of the Sydney Grammar athletes going quite nicely there on the outside. But the opening proceedings for the King's School, Miles Stewart controlling this race. He'll come into the bell lap now.
So it's a race of two halves as they come to the bells. 27 for the first 200, 31 for the second 200 metres. And Stewart now just starting to come back to the field as the Scots College lead the chasing pack. And by the time they get to 300 to run, they've almost managed to bridge the gap to Stewart.
So the Scots College athlete really making an attempt to take over the lead, and he's going to do exactly that as he moves up to the shoulder of the King's School athlete and passes him as they move into the penultimate 200 metres. So it's Scots versus Kings here in the open 800 metre divisional race. McCarthy just trying to hold off the King's School at the moment. As they come to the home straight, they are right on each other's shoulder, but Scott's just holding a very narrow lead. Also coming strongly now is St Ignatius on the outside. St Ignatius making a big run for home. He's past the King's School athlete. Can he get the Scots College athlete? It's going to be very, very tight on the line. It's going to be Scots College who just holds on 2.45 from St Ignatius, and the King's School in third. That was a fantastic finish, a very late run, but a very comprehensive run there by the St Ignatius athlete, bravely just missing out on that divisional win. But it was Max McCarthy from the Scots College taking out that race. Very good racing here.
Yeah, it's about a 61-62 second last lap. So for these age groups, that's pretty impressive running. They went quick early, the first 200 as they always do in the 8, but the last lap closing in 61-62, so quite impressive running.
That was very impressive running, to only positive split by a second or so in the 800s. It's very, very good going, and we can see there just 7 100s separating the Scots College and the St Ignatius athletes. Max McCarthy officially running to flat 0.42 seconds from Joseph Roddy from St Ignatius to flat 0.49 seconds, and Miles Stewart from the King's School there in 2:02.15. Great race there for the first of our open men's 800 metre races, and we are now moving towards the championship race, probably one of the highlight races on today's program.
Okay, and is the start list for one of the blue ribbon events of the championships. The men's open 800 metres in the senior boys. Sam Jones for Armidale in 1, Hugo Kendrick Little for Shaw in 2, Felix Cow for Sydney boys in 3, Charlie Jefferson of Kings in 4, Rory Wiley of Sydney Grammar in 5, Sam Braun of Scots in 6, Sam Lloyd of Newington in 7, Charles Cannon of St Joseph's in 8, and Patrick Lucas in 9 as they are ready to go.
So they are away, and again, the King's School very, very quickly out. Now, we did see Charlie Jefferson's name on the under-17 boys list, so I'm not actually sure whether this is Charlie Jefferson, but we will go with the King's School athlete regardless. As they move their way through the bottles, very quick out of the blocks is the Scots College athlete. That's Sam Braun from the Scots College, and he will lead the field through the first 200. 25.3. Very, very quick through the first 200 as they start to slow up in that second 200 metres.
Yeah, so they've settled it down now. So Scott's leading from Kings and then St Joseph's. Then a little bit of a gap back starting to form to the rest of the field. But that pack has just opened a gap up over St Ignatius, just starting to trail off as you'd expect in these senior races. But it's going to be Scott, St Joseph's and Kings coming down to pick up the bell. They went through in 27. It's slowed up slightly. They've gone through that 200 in about 31 and 57 at the bell.
Not surprising after that very quick start, and it's really been the nature of how these races have been run this morning. But this the Scots College athletes still controlling proceedings from St Joseph, and then Kings just behind them. They're the top three at the moment as they go through 300 to go. Still a big pack of 6 there in contention, and starting to go now down the back straight. St Joseph's now just taking the lead. The King's School just moving up on the Scots College there, and Scott's now fighting back on the inside as well. And now they've just left the St Joseph's athlete, and the King's School athlete breaking away, making a decisive move with 200 metres to go, opening up a 5 metre gap on the rest of the field. Scots College athlete at the moment, not much of a response at this time. And also Sydney Grammar going well there on the outside, but again it's the King's School, and yet probably a resounding victory coming towards the line. It's going to be well under the 2-minute mark again. Good battle there between Scots and that's the Armadale School athlete, Sam Jones. So it was Scots taking out that race.
60-second last lap. And so they would have gone through in about 1:57, I think, for the winners there, as the Sydney boys athlete comes in to round out the field.
That was a good race there again by the King's School. It was Harry Farrington from the Kings taking that one out. Again, 20 points for these championship race winners. Very important for the school standings. So Harry Farrington winning that open 800 metre championship race, 158.22 from Sam Braun, Scots College in 159.35. And a great showing there by the Armadale School's Samuel Jones in 159.63. All three athletes, the top 3 athletes, dipping under that 2-minute barrier. So just after finishing the first of our track events, though, the Under-17 Open Boys 800 metre races, we still have the Under-17 and Open Men's Shot Put events going on. As we look again at the Under-17 Shot Put Championship start list for those joining us just now. For the Sydney Boys High School, Blair Zong and James Liu. The Sydney Grammar Schools, Sahil Nanda and Xian Bose. Newington College's Hugh Bell and Quentin Lamoto. St Ignatius College's William Lamming and Mackenzie Thompson. The Scots College's Tyson Cogan and Darcy Clifton. Angus Arnott and Harrison Usher for the King's School. No representatives there from the Armidale School in this event. From the Shaw School, Jackson Knight and Jonathan Woodcock. And for St Joseph's College, William Burnett and Zachary Hart.